Gwyneth is Hollywood royalty, born into privilege as the daughter of actress Blythe Danner and producer-director Bruce Paltrow. Gwyneth didn't just step into the spotlight, she was born into it. A true Nepo baby at its finest. It didn't depend on her talents, it's rather her connections that got her there and gave her a major leg up in the industry. From her Oscar-winning performance in Shakespeare in Love to her lucrative wellness empire Goop, Gwyneth has built a multifaceted career that spans acting, entrepreneurship, and internet infamy. But Gwyneth's squeaky clean image hasn't always been this way, and she does have her fair share of scandals, like when her brand Goop faced multiple lawsuits for promoting pseudoscience. She called a divorce a conscious uncoupling. And let's not forget about the backlash she's faced for comments she's made about work ethic or privilege. Realistically, she's just come off tone deaf her entire career. So Gwyneth was born in 1972 in Los Angeles. Again, her mother's an actress, her father was a TV producer, and even her younger brother Jake is a director and screenwriter. She attended the famous Crossroads School before finishing out her high school career at another famed private school titled Spence, an all-girls school in New York City. Gwyneth's acting debut came as a courtesy from her father Bruce, because keep in mind, he's a big Hollywood producer, so of course he had her star in his 1989 film High. From that point on, she had a decade of success through different movies like Seven, Emma, Sliding Doors. She won her first Academy Award 10 years after her acting debut. Now, of course, Gwyneth doesn't do as much acting nowadays. She really stopped her workload after she picked up Goop because she found probably more success in selling things and branding items opposed to putting in that work acting. I mean, you see Rihanna over here with Fenty. It's not like she's going to be putting out an album anytime soon. She's realized where the real money's at.
Do you ever see yourself ever getting back into film?
I'm open. It's not something I pursue right now.
Has the film industry changed since you got in it?
That kind of 90s, 2000s was sort of, I feel like in a way it was the sort of end of the golden era of movies, then with the advent of streamers and I think the business models have changed a lot. The Me Too movement, I think there are very different rules and boundaries now in the industry, which I think is a really good thing.
It's a different world, and I think Gwyneth actually naturally aged out of the acting career. Some people can't seem to give it up, and they can't find another outlet, but Goop was her other outlet. I've actually eaten some of the food from Goop. They have like a few restaurants here in Los Angeles, and the food's really good, but it's interesting. It's interesting food. It's very health-oriented, yet they don't have any calorie count for anything, which I find annoying. In 2008, Gwyneth launched the weekly lifestyle newsletter Goop, which she eventually expanded into a wellness website and brand. She also has created a podcast, a wellness summit, several food and retail pop-ups, a print magazine, a clothing label, and more. Comment below, have you guys eaten at the Goop restaurant, or have you owned anything Goop before? The name Goop comes from her nickname, GP. She said once that someone told her successful companies have 2 O's in their name, which is why she added the 2 O's to Goop. Now, Goop has been both mocked and made fun of because a lot of people haven't taken this brand seriously, and part of that is because of the products they sell. We've got jade eggs, but then we also have a vibrator necklace. We have the infamous "This Smells Like My Vagina" candle. So many bizarre products, which sometimes land and other times they're just corny.
It almost looks like perfume, but it's for so don't put that in there. I always have a candle burning in the office. It's like a tiny fireplace. And then I usually have product that we are working on. This is not out yet. This is our Shine Bath masks. It's really hard to get hair products that are clean and non-toxic to work really well, especially on damaged hair. So this I'm very proud of.
We're going to get into Goop and some of the discrepancies behind this brand, but before we do that, I want to briefly talk about her romantic life. Throughout the 90s, Gwyneth was romantically linked to previous co-stars like Brad Pitt, who she was engaged to. She also dated Ben Affleck. She married Coldplay frontman Chris Martin in 2003, and they welcomed their first daughter together, Apple Martin. The following year, they had their son Moses in 2006, but in 2014, nobody saw this coming when they announced their separation. She didn't want to use the term divorce, so Gwyneth thought it would be a good idea to call it a conscious uncoupling, which just sounds a little bit delusional. She filed for divorce in 2015 and it was finalized the following year. Gwyneth didn't waste any time though. In 2015, the same year that she filed for divorce, she and Glee producer Brad went public. They, I guess, met on the set of the Ryan Murphy show 5 years prior, and they were engaged 3 years after announcing their relationship.
Gwyneth Paltrow and Brad Falchuk had been dating for 4 years before their marriage in 2018, but their love didn't blind them from getting a prenup. Along with kids, both parties had assets prior to their marriage. They specifically wanted to protect for themselves and their children. Getting a prenup was a non-negotiable for them. According to sources, it was just one uncomfortable chat the couple just needed to have to get on the same page prior to tying the knot. But now they can rest assured that their futures, their children's futures, and their finances are all secured because of a prenup.
Now that I've given you guys a quick rundown of who Gwyneth Paltrow is, I mean, I feel like if you just tuned in and you've heard of Gwyneth, but you don't really know who she is, I've given you like a good basis to start on. So let's go ahead and explore Goop a little bit more, because I'm obsessed with how chaotic this brand is. Jade eggs, bee stings, and more of Gwyneth Paltrow's most eyebrow-raising moments. Since the launch of Goop, they've had a few controversial products, including the Jade egg. It's claimed to increase sexual energy when placed in one's vagina. It makes my I don't have a vagina, but it makes my wiener feel weird. There's also the smells like my vagina candle. Gwyneth, however, stands by her choice to release these items, especially the scent that may make people uncomfortable. In response to her candle, she says, "I just felt like it was time to make a bit of a feminist statement around accepting who we are and our femininity." A year prior, she came under fire after Goop was in a conference in London in 2019, and people were upset about the $1,300 hotel price tag, paired with what they called was a subpar experience, with one labeling Gwyneth a extortionist and claiming the weekend was less of a summit and more of a sales pitch.
Yes. Strolling around the summit, it's easy to get drawn into the Goop universe.
1, 2, 3.
For a B12 shot or a different kind of needle. But what about an ear pierce? Well, I don't know. My ears are pretty pierced up.
It's interesting to see her do a summit because she's tried to niche down in a way, but it's not niche enough that a lot of these products just don't make sense in the room together. An attendee said Gwyneth acts like she's a health goddess, but actually she's pretentious and a greedy extortionist. That's what they're saying, not me. Quote, "She had a ton of security. She was unapproachable. She did the minimum. A few fireside chats with Twiggy and Penelope Cruz, but then she put on her Birkenstocks and snuck out." It should be noted that the actual value of the weekend was over $8,000, a rep told the outlet. The cost included a hotel suite, a gift bag, which was valued at $3,000, among other items. During the event, Gwyneth opened the day and conducted 3 fireside chats, almost half of the day's panels, and hosted a workout and a Q&A the next day. But a lot of fans were left baffled by this summit. I mean, these are her diehard fans. One person was quoted saying, "I was a huge fan of Gwyneth. Now I feel like I've lost my faith in God." Oh no, not Goop having people question their relationship with God. Gwyneth defended her wellness company from criticism early on, saying, "I very much want Goop to be its own standalone brand." She revealed that at this point in time, it's linked with me, but we are really trying to work on, detaching Gwyneth from the brand and making it its own identity. Gwyneth is obsessed with wellness, almost to a point where it seems it is pretentious or partially annoying. I mean, she does have a whole spa inside of her home. Let's go ahead and react to a clip of her giving us a tour together.
Okay, this is kind of the most incredible thing with the house. It's a bit of a spa moment happening. Understatement. You know, I'm into wellness, so I feel like it's justified, right? Maybe I can write it off as a business expense then. I think when we were conceiving of the house, we were trying to think
I'm sure she's writing more than just that off. I mean, how do they afford this?
of just like a forever home, and what would be the few things that are just so special and that, you know, you could use when you're much older. And so we were kind of thinking it would be amazing to have a real spa.
Now, I think that Gwyneth has tried to make her brand more standalone by creating outrageous products like this candle, which, comment below, have you smelt this smells like my vagina candle? Because I'm so taken back. Like, what are we working with? Are we working with, something like something floral? Are you going more of the, ocean route? In early 2020, Goop released the This Smells Like My Vagina candle, which Gwyneth said started as a joke but sold out within hours and was a conversation starter. Here's a clip of a TikToker giving us his review on her candle.
A candle that smells like what? I'm a gay man, so I don't know anything about that, but here we are. I'm gonna try it and let you know if you should buy it. This is cedar, citrus, rose. It's supposed to be good and warm and seductive. Sticker. All right, y'all. It's giving date nights in those really quiet restaurants with the linen tablecloths. People whispering. This is very nice. The rose is a little too strong for me, but this is something I'm gonna keep this one out. It's expensive though. Gwyneth. I guess that's what that smells like. All right.
This person commented, if this is what mine smelled like, I'd be at the doctor's. Another person writes, if it doesn't smell like raw chicken, I call it false advertising. Which is ridiculous, but that's exactly what she wanted. Now, of course, she tried to follow this up with another candle. This smells like my orgasm candle in June 2020. I don't know if it hit the same way. Quote, surprisingly sexy, wildly addictive, tart grapefruit, ripe cassis berries blended with gunpowder tea and Turkish rose. Oh, the Turkish rose. And of course, this naturally led to another candle, this time with Kourtney Kardashian, titled This Smells Like My Pooshie, which is a play on Kourtney's brand, which is titled Poosh, which is very similar to Goop, if I think about it, like the two O's, and they kind of like are both lifestyle, like wellness brands. Now, Gwyneth said that she wanted to collaborate with Kourtney despite their brands being compared to each other. She's saying there's room for every woman to fulfill her dreams, and that she actually wanted to go and collaborate with Kourtney despite people saying that she had been copied, that, Kourtney just mocked Goop, which it kind of seems like it. After releasing all these candles, she wanted to put out more, telling Elle in September 2020 she wants to release This Smells Like My WAP, but added that nobody thinks it's a good idea but me. She continued by saying that she thinks Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion's explicit WAP track and her company's sexually inspired candles are all part of a crumbling patriarchy and that there should be more of it. She goes on to praise Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, saying that they need to push the boundaries even further so they could move the center, a little bit away, which I get it. I like that, I like people just doing whatever the F they want to do. So if she wants to make her candle smell like her punani, her pits, her crack, whatever her feet, gross. What else can you make it smell like? Ew, I don't even want to think about it. I feel like hair could be a good one. At least my hair always smells good. Thank you for watching this clip from the Let's Get Into It podcast. To view the full episode, visit the link listed below.